Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk. We got our favorite returning guest on here, Aidan Jack Finnecy with AC.
Yo.
So, could y'all introduce yourselves a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we? Yeah, no,
I covered that.
It's great to be back. Thank you, Ryan. My name's Aidan Jack Finnecy. I'm an independent solo artist from Montclair, New Jersey.
Word. I am AC, Alex, whatever you want to call me. I produce music for multiple bands in the DIY scene in New Jersey.
Very awesome, very epic. Thank you for doing that for all of us small DIY artists here.
Yeah.
So to start off the basics, how would you describe your music to someone who's never listened to your type of music before?
I usually just use the blanket term indie because like these days indie can mean so many things. You know, like when it started out, it just meant independent. And now we kind of have DIY for independent. So like the words keep like finding new meanings. But now indie's like a genre name. Like you got indie rock, indie pop, like indie folk. Like you can literally just put indie in front of any genre. And I feel like it just, I don't know, like I like the term a lot. You know, I guess some people use it as a mean thing, but like we kind of do that as a joke, you know, with our song Indie Trash, you know, indie kids. Like we play into it fully. So like we mess around and like do a bunch of different styles, but I'd say like you could just give it a blanket term as indie because then there's room for the dance stuff, for the rock stuff, for the punker stuff. Like it's just
punker
in indie. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I can add any of that to it. I just like, I guess the approach would be, I can add to that and say that it's a bit more maybe natural and organic than a lot of other music. I know some people like to work within confines, and we just kind of evolve throughout our process, and each project is kind of independent of its own, but it's one big scope of learning.
Damn. Okay, professor.
So y'all really you're not a fan of labels or feeling boxed in or stuff like that. Am I misinterpreting or?
No, I'd say you're definitely on with that. You know, in terms of record labels, totally into that. Please hit us up. We're available. But we definitely don't really put a label on what we are except indie, because like I feel like there's enough room in that word for us to do whatever we want. Because we've definitely done a bunch of different stuff. Like it was way more punk and like indie rock oriented when we started out, and since then we've been doing synth stuff and dance stuff. So but yeah, we definitely don't like to confine ourselves. Like the whole idea, like, you know, the whole Green Day paradox, like, oh, you know, like you're punk, but you can't be punk if you're big. Like we're not into that at all. You know, like we'll play whatever we want to play, and you know, if you like it, you listen to it, and simple as that.
And also like with inspirations, you might listen to our music and think we're inspired by a certain artists specifically, but then we'll start the day and be like, oh, have you heard like this Kanye West song?
Yeah.
Or like stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I think it's definitely really valuable to have influences from all over the spectrum, whether that be rap and learning how to sample or like country or really whatever you wanted to go into. So how is it like working together as a team? Do you feel like that benefits the dynamic? Do you feel like it benefits the music? Are you too scared to tell each other when you don't like something or when something's not working, or how's that?
It's it's kind of hard to describe because it's like asking a blind person what it's like being blind. You know, they're just like, I don't know, there's nothing. I don't know. Like for us, this is just that was horrible. But this is just the way like we've always done it, you know. We've known each other for a long time. We're definitely not afraid to tell each other when something is shit. I send him ideas constantly, and he sends me a lot of stuff too. Like sometimes he'll send me the rough mix of like another artist he's producing or like something he just made, and I just constantly but it's our process is, it's like you said, it's pretty natural, it's pretty organic. Like right now we're in AC's basement. We're actually like literally in the middle of a recording session right now, as we told you, which is kind of cool, and we have band rehearsal after this. So like today is just like a full Aidan Jack Finnecy day. But yeah, I mean, we record everything in AC's basement studio. The coffee house? Yeah. The coffee house. It's badass. It's a very like homey environment. Like there's like what are you doing? There's like a mini fridge there. Oh
yes.
Yeah, that's his label. But yeah, there's like a mini fridge. There's like tapestries, and like it's pretty cool. Like everyone who walks down here just goes, whoa. Like, and so it's a really cool space to work in. The fact that he has this basement is awesome. And yeah, we just always done it together. You know, I've always worked alone. Like even when I was little, like you have the parent teacher conferences between like a parent and the teacher. I guess I didn't need to say that, but like the teacher would be like, Mrs. Finnecy, like Aidan chooses to work alone. Like we try to get the kids up and with a partner and he sits at his desk alone. Like, is he okay? So like I've always liked to do stuff alone, but I also think that no one ever really accomplishes anything completely alone. So like, even when I had the idea of being a solo artist, like when I was like, this is what I want to do, I don't know what I thought I was going to do. Maybe I thought I'd do it all by myself, but you know, I quickly told him that I wanted to do a solo project and he was like, yo, I want to start producing. And it just it really did just work out that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I don't even remember that like actual day. Like I'm just believing that it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, it's cool because like we kind of started playing music. Like I started recording and writing songs just for myself, like doing all the instruments myself. I started that with him and he started recording other artists with me. And since then, like I've, you know, tracked songs with other producers and he's produced a bunch of other artists, but like I don't know, this is kind of where it's at.
Home base.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great having someone like that you can actually talk to and trust. And I also really like the fact that you're giving your producer acknowledgement. I feel like that's not talked about enough, or like everyone who does the behind the scenes, like work with marketing and everything like that. So special shout out to anyone in the scene who does that, because it's tough work.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always considered AC more of a creative partner is kind of the term that we use, as opposed to just like he is a producer, he is an engineer, he's all that, but he is a creative partner. Like sometimes he'll write a part in the song or sometimes he'll play. Like he's the only other person that ever really plays instruments on the songs. He occasionally does that. So it was always more than just a client producer relationship. Because, you know, like truth be told, like if without him, like I'd probably still be releasing music. I record demos on my phone a lot. And right now we're actually trying to figure out what we want to do with those. We might want to put those out, but like with that's all I'd be doing, you know, like I maybe be making like sad acoustic songs in my bedroom and maybe putting them on SoundCloud, like because of him, like
not having a producer
yeah. But so really, you know, like yeah, a lot of it is me. You know, I play all the instruments, I write the songs. Like it is Aidan Jack Finnecy and I am Aidan Jack Finnecy, but it would not be possible without this guy, you know. Oh yeah.
Thanks.
Very wholesome. So more on what you've just released, your newest EP. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Do you want to take this one a bit?
This is Before We Changed.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. There's so many projects right now. Cause I don't know, we're like I guess technically juggling like 3 EPs right now. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas in the work. Yeah, Before We Change, it's the new EP. It's our 3rd EP. But it honestly feels like our first because it's 4 songs. So it's a little shorter than anything else we've ever put out. Usually our EPs are like 6 songs. So it's 4 songs and it's the first 4 songs we ever recorded together. So like 2 years ago now, autumn 2019, is when we started sort of getting together and producing. Like I would sleep over at his house maybe once a month and we would just make a night of it, like, which is kind of unusual. We've come to realize like the idea of doing all just recording a whole song in one night isn't what people usually do. But I guess we were just so inexperienced and so excited that we were just like, yeah, let's just record a song tonight. So we did Take One Shit, Used to It, Untitled for Now, and Denim Dan. And I had told him like I wanted to put out an EP, but I didn't tell you that those songs weren't going to be on the EP.
Yeah.
So like we're at like December of 19. He's like, hey, we're like halfway done with the EP. I'm like, no, we actually haven't started it yet, because I knew we wanted it. You know, I had a lot of faith in us as a partnership, and you know, in you as a producer, but I wanted us to get good at recording first. So those 4 songs were kind of like practice songs. They were songs that I was just writing, just literally random songs. I was like, what do I want to record tonight? Oh, let's record this one. So they're like, I don't care about what you're saying, so shut the fuck up. That EP was like very rigidly planned out. Like everything was very organized. These are 4 songs that we just kind of recorded on a whim. And then over the summer, I worked as a counselor at a sleepaway camp. So and there was no internet there. So I would have my phone, but would just have to, you know, for boredom, I would just look at stuff that was downloaded. So some stuff that was downloaded was like the files of these songs. and I was listening back to them and I was like, yeah, we might want to tweak these a bit, but these are releasable. Like I want people to hear these. So that's kind of when I hit him up like midsummer about the idea of sort of going back to work on these songs and putting them back out.
Yeah, and I was pumped for that.
Yeah.
Because we were recording those songs as if that we were gonna release them. I always thought, because I want to see an end goal in things. I don't want to just like create something great and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we recorded that, and then went into the EP.
Yeah.
Then like sorry, that was distracting me.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, you didn't mention how the process was of going back to the songs. So we recorded those songs. Some of them were on GarageBand and they were not engineered great on my part. So having to like mix those songs with our current knowledge, kind of using our younger selves as our creative partners was a trip. And it
was a trip. Yeah.
It was hard.
It was hard. We weren't really sure what to do with it at first. Like at first we were like, let's keep the original recordings, but let's apply all the mixing knowledge that we have now to those old recordings so they sound brand new. And then we did that and we got those mixes back and they just sounded kind of just unnatural, you know, and just kind of like forced a bit, like just
like perfuming a pig.
Whoa. But yeah, so yeah, they sounded like perfuming a pig. And we thought, okay, maybe let's like cut that in half, you know, like maybe take some of the stuff that we know how to do, but like I kind of realized like we were trying to remix these songs, like they've always been releasable. Like you say, they were horribly mixed, like
you're horribly engineered.
Okay, or horribly engineered. So like, yes, they were rough, but like they were always releasable. So we just kind of had to brush them up a little bit. Like it wasn't so much of really, like I think it was like learning what not to fix and what to fix. Because when we tried fixing everything, it just sounded bad. So like we did about halfway, you know.
And a lot of people like the DIY sound of the first EP. So kind of having that energy with like some new, I guess like vibes in it, it helped.
It really is like a sibling to the first EP, like to I Don't Care About What You're Saying, because it was recorded that same year, like the same drum setup. We had a super small drum set for those two EPs, like just a creative decision on my part. So like they really are like, and like you're talking about that DIY sound, like when he says that, I think we mean just like the sound that we have on the I Don't Care About What You're Saying EP, because it is in this basement and it is with that weird setup and we had no idea what we were doing. So like, you know, and this is not a compliment, like to pat ourselves on the back, but like no EP sounds like that EP because it was recorded here by two kids who had no idea what they were doing. And I like the result, but like it's sort of a unique result. So like this other EP is in that same vein, like it's got that same sort of sound because we had even less idea of what we were doing.
Yeah.
So do you think it's more important to go in with a plan and an idea, or do you think that it's better to just let things percolate and just be organic?
Damn.
What do you think? I feel like you would have more thoughts on this.
I like the idea of being prepared but not rehearsed. You know what I mean? Like be ready for anything. So you don't have to like go running around looking for things that you don't have available to you. But I don't like the idea. I like the idea of things being able to evolve throughout the process and discovering something as you're doing it. Because I'm trying to think of an example of that.
Maybe,
I oh no.
Yeah, well, I usually don't write out my, like, especially in the old days, like I would come to the studio with like maybe half an idea for a song and we would have to finish it up. And honestly, I would usually just like, he would be setting stuff up and I would just be here on this couch, just like kind of cramming, like just like cramming for a test, except cramming for a session. Like, oh, I need to track these drums, but I don't know how the song goes. So I did that for a while. And then I still do that sometimes, but we're recording a new EP right now, like 3 new songs, and we're doing it way differently. Like I am kind of writing out my parts a bit more. Like we recorded, instead of doing like 1 song a day type of thing, because we kind of, last time we did that for our second EP, Plot Thickens, we kind of realized we had maybe outgrown that strategy a bit. It was really exhausting and just not getting us the best results. So this time we were like, let's do a day where we track the drums for the 3 songs. And now today we're like, let's do a day where we track the guitars for each song. So like I have been listening to the drum tracks that we recorded last week in preparation for the guitar parts that I'm recording this week. So I have been rehearsing it a bit more and like preparing a bit more on my end. But no, we usually, like, there's always a certain level of the song that's not finished by the time I come to the studio. And that's why I use the term creative partner, because like I'll come here with like 80% of an idea and he'll round out the rest of the 20%, you know?
Even with the not just on a song level, but a whole project level, the first EP, that wasn't the original track list. I forget what we
No.
had written on the whiteboard was, I don't even remember what, but
Yeah.
it was a bit different. So yeah, if we went into that and been like, we have to stick to this, it wouldn't have been the same result.
Yeah, we genuinely have a whiteboard, by the way, like to the right of us, like where we write down each song and then like put a check mark and stuff. We didn't do that for the last EP.
No.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Let's do it after this. Yeah.
So do you think that these changes in your process have affected the overall sound and the quality and production of your new EP that you're currently recording?
I don't know. I feel like that's time will tell, you know, like we'll see.
You were still early in the process of this EP.
Yeah, this EP, like I want to put out like my goal is to put out like 3 EPs in 3 months. That's like we did before we changed in October.
Yeah.
And I want to put out these new 3 songs in November. And then I want to put out an EP of like songs from my phone. Like I mentioned to you, like I record a lot on my phone, and we have like re-recorded those songs in the studio, like to good results. Like we've done that. But I also am attached to like the sort of acoustic Elliott Smith type of demos that I have on my phone. So maybe in December, I want to see if you can work some of your magic on those phone songs, figure out what phone songs I want to put out also. So like, yeah, like October was before we changed. November was whatever these, we don't know what this EP is going to be called yet. And then December, maybe phone songs. So like, yeah, we want to put out a lot. We're trying to keep busy. We started a live band. Like when we started talking together, it was COVID. Like when I put out the first EP, it was like the summer of COVID. It was a very weird time, but and obviously shows weren't really a thing. So since this project, it started in 2019, but we started releasing stuff during COVID. We've never really had the chance to play shows yet, even though we've both been playing shows in other bands for years. So we played our first show since COVID in late June with a band called C+, and it went pretty well. It was really fun. And then I went to work for the whole summer. And then since I've gotten back, we've got a solid 4-piece live band put together. I sing and play guitar. He plays lead guitar. Our friend Christian plays bass, and our friend Sal plays drums. And like we're rehearsing probably like an hour after this call. But like we've just been booking like crazy. We have a lot of shows booked for like winter, spring, which our goal is to get on a small tour, but before the end of the school year. Like we're trying to book out of state Friday, Saturday shows. So it's like that's a whole other aspect to the project that is sort of just starting. Like we're like pretty confident with the studio stuff, but like with live stuff, like we're still just breaking into that. But we played like 2 or 3 shows, and they've been actually a lot of fun. Like you have a weird perspective, because in the first show he played bass we were a trio, and then over the summer we found Christian who could play bass so he could move to lead guitar, and we've done 2 full band shows. There was a third one in New York City that I did by myself, but so for the first full band show you were on bass, second one you're on lead guitar. How's that feel?
I mean, it's more freeing playing lead guitar because like that's my home, but yeah, playing bass was I mean, it was fun. It was like cool, like knowing that perspective of the songs, and like it's a bit less pressure. But I don't know, lead guitar, that's my thing. So I've always wanted to do that with projects that we've done, and that's always been like a discussion. When I was playing bass for that one show, it was like, yeah, I play bass for this show, but I'm not the bassist of the band. Yeah,
he was never supposed to be the bassist. I only bring that up because like at the show, that show sold out. Like C+ is a pretty big local band, so they sold it out, and we were so perfect first show back. It was awesome. And I remember like in the days leading up to it, he's calling me. He's like, yeah, man, like sold out show, 350 people. It was like a big break, and I'm on bass. So yeah, I like bass. I'll play bass anytime.
That's your first instrument?
It is my first instrument. Yeah.
I mean, I get to play with more things when I'm a lead guitarist. Like I have my pedals and everything, and get to be like a tech nerd with that. So
yeah, I've always said he's a better lead player than I am. We actually played in a band like years and years ago where I sang and played guitar and he played lead. Like he plays the solo on Hey Policeman off the first EP, like which is like this whole shredding solo, because I just gave it a shot and it was pathetic. Like I also get like very self-conscious like here in the studio, it's the most welcoming environment, but I get self-conscious writing and recording solos because it's like I'm in a chair and then 5 feet away he's in a chair and he's just kind of looking at me and I'm just like writing my solo. So like we just tracked one. That was the last thing we did before this call. And I was like, hey man, can you, just give me like 5 minutes in the room alone? And you were like, yeah, of course, and you went up. And so like I feel like honestly that's a progression, because back in the day I would have just been nervous and gotten in a bad mood and just kind of written the solo, but would have been very nervous. And now we've reached the point where I'm like able to just be like, hey man, can I have some space to write this solo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, a lot of people ask me like, oh, is it okay to do this or this in the studio as long as it doesn't go against the, I guess like the way, the technical way we record things. And I'm like, yeah, because I want to make sure the artist is the most comfortable they could be with the songs that they wrote, because their emotions are literally in the song. So why would I say you can't be in a comfortable environment when producing the song, So
yeah, I've had a lot of friends ask me like, how do you record like that's a big question for a lot of people, like how you release music too, so this, like how did you get it on Spotify? Like they ask you, like it's like you climb to a fucking mountain, like dude, just get on DistroKid, like it's really easy. So like I think most people just don't even realize that, but once they ask me that, they're like, oh, so how do you actually make it? Like do you do it in your bedroom or something? I'm like, no, I have a friend who he'd do it all with him. So I've recommended him to a lot of people, and maybe like half of those people have actually followed through and reached out to him. And that's always a really cool thing. Like the fact that I can sort of be the bridge in between possible clients and him, and then they make something really cool. And, obviously I didn't do that. I had no part in the creative process, but the fact that I was like, hey, I got him to him, that's cool. So, it's fulfilling on both our parts.
Yeah, because we started it together, and then, I don't know, we learned through each other, stuck together through this whole process, and working with other people.
Stuck together. Yeah.
That's really great to hear. I like the dynamic you guys have. It's very like fun and just bright. So if hypothetically I had time, which is a thing I don't have, but if I wanted to go see one of your shows, where would I go? Where's the next show?
For sure. Ryan, I was literally going to ask you if you're coming to the show. We have a show on Friday, October 29th. It's a house show in Montclair. So we can't say the address right now, but if you message me afterwards, Ryan, I would love if you can. We also have a show at Seton Hall Prep on November 5th.
We do?
Yeah, we do. The coffee house.
Okay.
We have a show in Albany, New York, for November 12th. We have a show at Red House in Boonton on the 13th. We have a show at the Caffeine Underground in Brooklyn on November 20th. We have a show at Crossroads, which is in Gasboro. It's in Jersey.
I forget what it's called.
Okay. We have a show at Crossroads on the 21st. We have a show. We have 2 shows, and they look like they're going to be the shittiest shows ever, but I'm still excited for them. We have 2 back-to-back shows in Virginia. So yeah, like we're playing at like a rec center and then at like another rec center. So we'll see how that goes. And then we have a show at Dingbats with C+, again, like the same venue we played back in June. That one I'm really excited for. That one's in December. It's going to be like December break, so everyone will be home from college. So like no excuses. People got to come. I'm including you. I'm very excited about that one. Like, because our last Dingbats show was so much fun. It's like a real venue, like there's like a stage and a sound guy, and like it's the most real of, like, house shows are a blast, don't get me wrong, but like it's cool to play like an actual venue sometimes. So December 19th we're playing Dingbats. If anyone can remember all those dates, pull up. It's a fun time.
They'll be on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll promote it, obviously.
Is there anything else you guys would like to promote before y'all go?
Listen to Before We Change, listen to The Plot Thickens, listen to Believe, The Pet Store, Rhubarb. I don't care about what you're saying, so shut the fuck up. Particularly Vicious Mosquitoes, if you're going way back. I don't even think Ryan knows that reference.
I listened to what's the first song off that?
Walking Down.
Dude,
yeah.
That song slaps.
old shit. But listen, Aidan Jack Finnecy, just look up Aidan Jack. I'll pop up, if you don't want to spell Finnecy. Aidan Jack Finnecy on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all that sorts of stuff. We got a new EP coming out soon, 3 new songs coming out in November. So be on the lookout.
Heard it here first.
Do you have anything to promote?
I guess my Instagram handle is AC Borress, ACBORRESS, and there you can find everything I'm doing production wise. The link in my bio has been for a while my production discography on Spotify. So like anything that has been released that I had a part of, that's on there, including all of Aidan's music. So
and if you want to see us dressed as Power Rangers, come to the show on Friday. Message me for the address. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for a great talk. And
Of course.